Hello everyone, it's me, Inky Crow, and it's been a while since I made another Wizmorf's Tale devlog, and for that I apologize. For this video, I'll not only be covering progress on the game, but also I'll be discussing my learning period I had with the Godot engine and the process of moving Wizmorf's development from Unity to Godot. Now, to start up, for a good while I was interested in using Godot, and quite honestly, Wizmorf's development started on Godot. The issue was that at the time I didn't know squat about Godot. I didn't even bother to read the documentation, and as a result I was getting irritated when the features I wanted to do just didn't want to work. Just wouldn't work. I usually like to learn on experience rather than reading, so big mistake on my part. And thus, I decided to develop Wizmorf on Unity for a good while. As shown in the previous devlogs, I was able to make good progress in what gameplay features I was going for, with a few road bumps here and there, as well as receiving a lot of feedback from people on how I can improve the game. I would like to thank those people for that. But at some point, my interest with the Godot engine came back to me. I really wanted to learn how to use it, and go as far as move Wizmorf back to it. Only this time, I was gonna learn it for realsies, taking my time to read the documentation, which, by the way, took me about 2 weeks in getting through the step-by-step and a good chunk of the other tutorials. I don't know. I'm lazy. Whoops. And practice what I learned by making a few games in the engine. And so, here's the stuff I made during my learning period, starting off with this little neat shooter. This was my first attempt at making a top-down shooter of sorts. Pretty basic, with enemies spawning at random areas above, and a simple shooty scheme. Nothing too much out of the ordinary, and of course, bugged as all shite. I also learned how Godot's colliders work, especially with the area and body collider differences, which would be super helpful for later. Sticking with my comfort zone of 2D games, next I made a simple point-and-click horror game involving a possessed cat. On this one I tried to practice on making UIs and more along the lines of interactivity, and here I learned interpolation as well as how Godot would process image files. Though I did finish it on the graphics side, I wanted to go a bit more in and give it transitions and sound, and from there I learned how the audio nodes work. This one's the only complete game I've done in the learning period, and even got to post it on GameJolt. It got feedback from people, and someone even went as far as doing a Let's Play of it, and provide feedback said Let's Play. Big shout out to AzureLounge for that. If you want to play it for yourself, I'll leave a link to the GameJolt page in the description where you can download it. I'll also leave a link to April's video in the description, so go there and say hi. Up next was an attempt at using the 3D features of Godot, though I think I might have bit more than what I could chew with what I was going for. As you can see, I was trying to make a sort of Sonic 3D physics game, and failed twice. But hey, at least I took something out of it. I learned how to use raycasts in Godot and what data they can provide, as well as some basic rigid body and platforming stuff. Though my only gripe with it is that there are some tricks that I used on Unity that just don't work on Godot. For example, how I do 3D platformers. But who knows? Maybe later I'll pick it back up and see if I can make a successful attempt at it. I hope I can. And that's about it. It wasn't much that I made within that month, but it was enough for me to get around the engine and finally take it seriously. And with that, starting this month, I began the process of moving Wizmorf's Tale's development from Unity to Godot. The objective was to transfer the current progress of the game, still in its alpha stage, onto Godot, perhaps with a few new things in it. I moved most of the art assets to the project and began to work. Obviously, I started with getting Wizmorf's abilities: Grow, Shrink, Stomp, the ones assigned. I haven't placed the Punch ability yet, mostly because that was in another sprite sheet, and I'm gonna be reworking that soon. And then moved to other external stuff. At first, I was going to have the sizable boxes to be rigid bodies, but after seeing that they glitch through the walls if pushed by a kinematic body onto a wall, I made the boxes into kinematic bodies and programmed all the physics and interactions with the environment of the character. So far, so good. And lastly, I worked on 2 other gimmicks that were in the previous Unity build, which were the trampoline and the smashable planks. Oh, also I made a change in one of the mechanics. In this version, Wizmorf can recharge his magic to cast his growth and shrink spell, unlike in the previous version where you cast 3 spells and you have to wait for a cooldown before you can cast again. I changed this because I felt like that would break the flow of the game, or at least that to me. Once done, I proceeded to do a test level, or a layout of what could be the tutorial level. Here I learned how to use the tile map, as well as making tile sets, which would be helpful later in development, as well as how collision layers and masking works. I based the stage on the original from the Unity build, but of course I had to make some differences regarding some obstacles. Most notably the last one at the end. But with all that done, here's the result of my Godot training. Boom. What do you guys think of it so far? I know it doesn't have all the fancy particle effects like the Unity build, but I'll be adding those in due time. Right now, what I have in my roadmap is to get this tutorial level looking fully developed, as well as reworking some current assets. More importantly, I'm going to redo Wizmorf's sprites and animations, as well as adding new ones for the new abilities and build-ups for his current ones. I'll be focusing on that during the next period, and hopefully, if I have spare time before the next devlog, I can give the game some sound. But anyway, that's about it for this video. It's been quite a journey for me to learn this new engine, even if it was just a month. But I hope that with what I learn along the way from now, I can make this project and others the others better as I go on. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you wish to follow Wizmorf's development and other projects I do here, subscribe and follow my socials in the description. Though I do advise caution, since I can end up doing cringe every now and then. Also, if you really like my stuff here and want to see me do more of it more often, consider supporting me by pledging on Patreon or Subscribestar, or just do a one-time donation on PayPal. Alright, that's enough of me plugging my stuff. I hope you enjoyed. Have fun doing whatever it is that you're doing right now, and I'll be seeing you in the next devlog. Cheers.